Amoso ujo anyuola, amoso ni okweuru, an gi nyinga iluonga ni Kawango Agot. An machako migao manyien miluongo ni Kisihomi, matiende ni Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori. And kaka jachakne, nitie jomosepenjo ni to gini ochak nikech ang'o, nitie jomoko maparo nochake e yo mar kao pes ji kata e yo mar nia mopogre. Jomoko be nitie moseparo nachake nikech adwa donjo e siasa, ok adwa donjo e siasa. Koro adwa nyiso ji ni an ng'a, mondo in iwuon kisewinjo to mondo ine ni to maeri en gima diera, koso maeri en gima chalo ni nitie porojo. Koro adwa ni mondo you make a decision on your own, you make judgment. Adwa nyiso ni an ng'a. Koro an nonyuola Siaya County over 60 years ago. Manyiso ni I'm over 60 years old. Dhi school moro miluongo ni Majiwa Primary School, class 1 nyaka 7, dire nwatimo CPE, bas ka kanyo to adhi Rangala Girls High School, bas ka kanyo to form 5 and 6 adhi Nyakach Girls High School. Then at the University of Nairobi, atimo education, so I'm a teacher by profession. That's my first profession. And then kanyo at the Moi University for my masters, my first masters. Then kanyo at the Uppsala University in Sweden for diploma in human nutrition. Basaito banget at the University of Washington, kamasome a second masters or PhD. And so that is my education background. So in terms of teach, I say Puonjo Shanzu Teachers College, I say Puonjo Kisii Teachers College, I say Puonjo Mosorio Teachers College. My teaching profession mostly and training teachers. And then katieko kanyo, after my first masters at Moi University, adhi kendo adok back to Moi University as a junior staff or junior faculty, where I taught for about 5 years. Besides education, Gitipuonjo, when I moved out of teaching, when I came back after my PhD, I started organizations. I started one organization and then added some. So I've run multiple organizations, and Kumago asetimo over 15 programs across the Kisihomi region. I've done over 40 research studies, nonro mupogre mag HIV sana to gitweche mupogre bende e gwengewa. Kendo kuom jogo matimo research, ing'eyo ni kitimo nonro to nyaki publish. I say publish over 150 articles in peer-reviewed journals. Currently, I am the director of 4 outfits, kiweyo Kisihomi oko. And all of them are pretty successful. I thank God for that. And kawuna adwa nyiso umana matin kalure gi moro ka moro mondo ini wuon inyalo dhi Google mondo nene to mama mochako gini en mama majadiera koso kwen mama majadi. We are actually 20 years old this year. Wan gi headquarter wa Kisumu to Mboya Estate, and sani watiyo 9 counties kiweyo Kisumu kama wantie, moriwo Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori, Kisii, Nyamira, Vihiga to gi Nandi. And over time, over the 20 years, we're set you in a maximum of 25 counties out of the 47 counties. So we are not just local, we are also national. The vision mar impact is to create and develop empowered and healthy communities and individuals with a mission to improve our health and our development by promoting research and programs that use local resources or use community resources. And so in short, we've been funded by CDC, PEPFAR through CDC, between 2004 to 2021. For 17 years, we actually implemented a lot of programs in the Nyanza region, the former Nyanza region, and through HIV testing, through voluntary medical male circumcision, through initiative Moro Milwongoni PrEP or pre-exposure prophylaxis, where you work with, you take ARV to prevent you from getting HIV before you get HIV. But we also have other interventions that we've done. So overall, without going into details, through impact research, we offered circumcision to over 660,000 young boys and adult men, which is almost 30% of everything that was done in the whole Kenya by 2021. We also tested over the 20 years 2.8 million people mostly from around this region. We also reached over 45,000 young people aged 10 to 24 and their parents, about 25,000 parents. We just talked to them about how they can relate to each other and how children can find it easy to talk to their parents about issues that affect them, including those that make them get HIV. And we've also served a lot of young people. I do a lot of work with young people, and especially adolescent young girls and young women through initiative Mormilwongoni Dreams, Manwati Mosiaya, and also working with the group that we call key population that include sex workers and the others who are at higher risk. And so that's our achievement. As you can see, as Impact, we have really made a big impact in what we call the HIV response in this region as well as in the rest of Kenya. So that's one of the programs that we've run. But I also want to talk about another organization that I'm calling Give Back. Give Back because Impact is the organization that pays me a salary. But the rest of the ones I'm going to talk about do not pay me salary. So I look at them as a give back to the community, as a give back to the community that brought me into the world and has given me opportunities to do the best that I have. And the first one is called Nyanza Initiative for Girls Education and Empowerment, in short, Walungoni Nige. Which we registered in 2011, which means that it is 12 years old. And it is a society that aims at empowering girls so that girls who would have otherwise not have an opportunity, girls masamoro senyuol a school or makoichkani a school, kata girls ma oditedo chon, madwaro dok back to school, we were giving them what we call a second chance mondo gidok e school, mondo gibed ga better future or a better opportunity to have a better life together with their children. And for this, we are in the 4 counties, Kisihomi, which is Kisumu, Homa Bay, Siaya, Togi, Migori, and our target is girls 9 to 24 years. For jogo moda Kisumu, yo madhi Ogango, kinge Ogango kumogango nitie kadho car wash, kanyo wasegero what we call Girls Empowerment Center under Nige. And the Girls Empowerment Center is one-stop center for most of the girls empowerment activities. We are offering vocational training there. We are offering what we call a bridge center. And a bridge center, excuse me, is where and kama nisewe school wawach nini mako ich tiwe school kata higni adek mokadho to adwa ni waduoki school kapok idoke school ni samoro wi use will itimo homework nade itimo nango ichiew sadi samoro in gi nyathi ma you are looking after koro wadwaro ni bridge center ni bire tichako wachako prepare you to go back to school so that when you go back to school ok float ahinya. We also have a gender-based violence rescue center ma survivors of sexual and gender-based violence wa offer gi a temporary accommodation in the sense that we keep for up to 7 days as required by law as wadwaro kuonde ma wanyalo tero gi registered centers that can keep them. To sama wamiyo gi this accommodation, we are trying to see whether there's a way wanyalo come between, wanyalo ngado luongo kelo kwe gigi kama problem ne wuokie ok nwagolo gi agola to link kod wagolo gi bas wangi is there way mwanyalo kelo kwe mane samoro kelo lweny mane momiyo the girls and women are coming to the center. And we are also having what we call an employment bureau in the sense we are training young people on how to write CVs and how to look for employment, how to write a cover letter, how to present for interviews. And then we also have a daycare center because a lot of the girls mawan gogin girls ma have kids negise nyuol samoro negiwe school and so they have kids and oge kama giwe nyithindo koro as we are training them at the vocational center, as they are coming to the bridge center, as they're coming to the rescue center if they're survivors of sexual and gender-based violence, the main thing is that many of them have kids, and therefore we are providing for their kids. We are providing a daycare center manyalo allow gi to mondo gi concentrate in class. And so we are providing that and offering courses in fashion and design, in beauty therapy, in computer studies, hairdressing, and we are charging a very modest fee for those who are interested. We are located at Ogango near Golden Elite Premier. And the profit that we get from this vocational center, we are using to take more girls back to school or to support more girls. But the GBV center, or the Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Center, is free of charge. We are not charging them to come because these are people who are desperate. Under Niger, we also had a project that was called Dreams Innovation Challenge. And in this project, what we were tasked to do, or what we proposed we would do and did, how to prepare adolescents adolescent girls to actually be marketable, to be employable. And so we did this over a 2-year period and linked to employment, to volunteership, and to mentorship and internship. 3,703 girls that we built their capacity from CV writing all the way, and then linked them up with employment. And I talked about Gender-Based Violence Center. We offer, as I said, temporary shelter, but also psychological counseling. We are doing referral for medical services, referral for legal services, as well as referral to the other partners that can offer some of the services that they need. And finally, the other thing that we've done through Niger is to return girls back to school, not with donor funding. The other ones I talked about had donor funding, but we have returned girls to school without donor funding. We are looking for profits that we get from small businesses that we are doing. We sell branded t-shirts, we sell sodas, we sell underwears, we sell mbao. We sell many little things and profit mwayudo back to school. And we are proud to say that we have actually returned over almost 483, almost 500 girls back to school, which is 483 girls that we have returned using profits from these small businesses. And one interesting thing about the businesses is that okno said wakonyiri school kende. Gimachielo mwasetimo go hand ni mwayudo matindo tindogi eni nwanyio lo mwawacho manitio gango no kwasenyio lo to we saw an application from the French embassy, and then we applied to help us put up a structure. They said they don't have sufficient money, but ginyalo konyo wagero foundation. So we built a foundation at Niger, and then using the money from the French government. Then after building the foundation, koro wagedo kend wago hendi matindo tindo mwayudo gi awachuga nijid wagedo go hendi mwayudo kwa uso sirweche underwears that we buy and then we sell. And so kane koro nyocha last year we could not complete. Nwase gedo up to the roof, and if you go there, you'll see that we had up to the roof. Then we also got another opportunity. Somebody gave us a tip. The Japan embassy was also interested. They support such organizations, so we approached them, and they agreed to help us complete the building. So as we speak, we have the French embassy completing the building, giketonwa perimeter wall, gitiekonwa the upstairs room, and just making it ready. They're helping us to furnish the kitchen for catering classes. They're helping us to get computer classes, and so on and so forth. And so we are pretty optimistic, and we are asking each one of us, inyalo dhi mondine, ka ingi ng'ama inyalo sponsor monditerie vocational training, feel free to do so. And so we are, that was in Kisumu, Migori. We also have activities and returned over 200 girls back to school using non-donor funds. And we also have done a lot of work in Homa Bay through training of chiefs and assistant chiefs, what we call duty bearers, on how to address gender-based violence. And the referral pathways, how if somebody reports to you, iti monango. So we have done a lot of training in all the 4 counties, the chiefs and the elders and the other duty bearers. And we've also worked with the Ministry of Health in all those 4 counties in terms of just talking to them about discussing the girl and youth-friendly sexual and reproductive health services in the 4 counties, and we've met many places. We've met Kisumu and Siaya and Homa Bay and Migori, as far in as Nyatike, as Kuria, We've held multiple girl summits and also dialogue just with the girls so that we can call them together and they dialogue over issues that are affecting them, and then we see how we can respond to those issues so that oknua biro kwa oko give what we think they need, but we actually ask them what they really need and then seeing how we can work together with them to deliver. Because one of the things that for me I'm passionate about is not just give out, hand out is something that does not last. And therefore we bring the girls together and we say, what is your role? What role are you going to play in this thing that you need, so that we join hands and we work together. The third one that I have also processed, an organization, Bendema Machako Machieng 2018, is not quite an organization, but it's a movement. It's called RAY. RAY is Reducing HIV in Adolescents and Youth. Kaka na wacho kanya seti yogi rawere moloyo kaka seti yogi adults, and trying to build their capacity, trying to mentor them, trying to give them opportunities to be able to grow and to optimize their ability. So RAY is, as I said, the aim is mentorship. The main aim is mentorship in research, because we believe that young people, the HIV burden is big among young people, especially among adolescents, young girls and young women. And we know that they have the solutions, and yet one job ma OT area, one job ma experience, we bring solutions that don't work, and then we wonder why don't these young people do this. And so this idea, Marray, is to get young people themselves to come up with solutions to the problem where they cannot use interventions miogi. So they come up with their own solutions, and then we support them and mentor them to test those solutions in a research setting and see whether they work. And so we've done that from 2018. We've supported 30 young people that we are building from just giving an idea, this is what I think, and working with them to develop that idea into a full proposal. We give them seed funding. We make sure that they get ethics approval that is required before you do research. And then Magi team research, the pilot, Mwakonyigi, how to pilot, we oversee until now they complete. So most of them have completed. And one thing that they did that was really interesting last year, 2022, is they held a youth-only conference, youth-only international conference, just here in Kisumu. Negi hold youth-only international conference that was attended by 375 young people in person, and over 1,600 young people throughout Africa virtually. And we had representations, people coming over from Kenya, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Zambia, South Africa, coming to Kisumu to listen to young people, see how they can organize their own conference, how they can make their own presentations, how they can come up with their own action points, and how they can act on that. And the point that we wanted to make is to tell people that young people can do it. For those that are motivated, they can do it. What they're lacking is an opportunity to be given to them and mentorship, holding their hands so that they're able to solve their own issues, and with us supporting. And then the last one the second last one is Tungane Hospital. For those of you Moda Kisumu, Tungane Hospital is in Tom Mboya Estate near Kibuye Catholic Church. It used to be called Tungane Youth Center, and we did a lot of work with young people, building their talents and giving them opportunity to express themselves. And then when the funding for young people ended in 2017, then we now turned it into a low-cost hospital, but extremely efficient. And so we have the hospital that has both inpatients and outpatients. We also have a theater for major and minor surgeries. We have a really well-stocked pharmacy. We have equipment. And because we are running the center both for Kako Siptal, but also Kaka Research Center. And as a research center, nitia level mar equipping the pharmacy and equipping the laboratory that is needed to be able to conduct research. And the good thing about having a facility that is also doing research is that you are actually given the best services based on the freshest research findings. You know, what is the best research finding? And so we serve both purposes at Tungane, offering services And these services are open to anybody. You have NHIF, you don't have NHIF. We are NHIF accredited. And our services it's a private but very modestly charged. And so because we want to serve a large number of people who are not able to pay for high-end private hospitals. And the last one that I want to talk about, and those were like service to the community generally overall, but I also want to just mention that I also run a school, a private low-cost school. The local school is based in Bondo. It's called the Kawango Christian Academy, and that is from what was ECD, ECDE, from the PP1, PP2, and all the way to junior secondary. That we provide very high quality education with very small student to teacher ratio, and you can Google them. They've done always really, really well, taking a number of students to national schools and extra county. Sometimes all students go to either national or extra county. So that is personal, and I wanted to bring this one out just to show that I have done work and run organizations that serve the community, such as Nige, such as Tungane Hospital, such as Ray, that serve everybody. But also, I've tried to grow myself. Abende adongra kenda uon. As I dongo jomoko adongra kenda uon. And that is the key thing for Kisihomi. Grow yourself as you also grow others. Kiki donga donga ni mamari kendi, me, myself, and I. So everything is about you and nya uncle, nya auntie. It is good to support yourself and support your family, but sometimes you also expand beyond that. And so this is an example that I have a school I'm running, and that is a personal investment, but I also have the majority of what I'm doing is actually in support to the community, and I'm going to talk briefly about the impact that these ones have done. And so the first impact that what I would say teach Maseti over the years since I started working, I started working kitambo ya. Nachako teach 1984. Ongejo kunose nyole yeka. Nachako teach 1984. My first posting after my training as a teacher was to Shanzu in 1984. And so after the teaching, and then I said I started the organization. So I'm going to highlight a few of the impact of what I have done for you to make a decision whether mama ni ishia conman uwundu wa Kisihomi nito engi hidden agenda. No, I don't. My agenda is one, and that is to help to talk to us so that we can come together and develop ourselves as a community, because we are done with relying on development from outside. Jo outside go kubiro nigi yudwa yude ngwech ngama miye wato kwatamre tok ni mano igimwa bet kwarito. So the first thing is to what Joma Kinge Lumumba Health Center. There is a huge building. It was the very first modern building in Lumumba Health Center that was called UNIM Research Center, or UNIM project those days. So that is a project that I started immediately I came back from the US after my PhD. That's my first station where I worked, and we supported. I found when the first phase of the building had already been constructed, but we negotiated, or I would say I was part of the group that negotiated so that we could build the Gorofa. And so that is a permanent building that is serving the community, is serving the Ministry of Health, and is going to be left to the county. And so it's not like, I'm one person who, if I can avoid it, I'm against rent Kamoro, and which is what was initially being planned. If it were a facility to rent, kisa rent that facility, kiti eco project metimo, tingeni where only one person reach, and that is the landlord. You were the landlord after 5 years. If you're running this thing, UNIM has been running since 2002. 2001 actually, the building was 2000, 2001. 2002 is when we started doing research there. And another place Manoti made the first research on male circumcision, Mano confirm the male circumcision reduces the risk of acquiring HIV in men. And so I was the one who was coordinating that study. I was the one that actually mobilized and taught the community, and so on and so forth. And so that's a building that we had the option of hiring a building somewhere, and what more research to But we made a conscious decision nwadwa gedo within a government facility, within a public facility. And gedo kanyo means ni waweyo a building, wabro weyo a building that can be used for generations to come. And that is the pride I have. Similarly, kuom jogo ma modak Siaya, you know Bondo, it used to be called Bondo County, Bondo District Hospital, now it's called Bondo Sub-County Hospital. The Bondo Sub-County Hospital, ibro neno kama nitie KMTC, the Kenya Medical Training Center. That is a building that I negotiated together with Jawiyoma moro miluongo ni Zablon Omungo. So Zablon Omungo and myself, we negotiated with the funder mondo wager that building manitie Bondo and within Bondo Sub-County Hospital as we speak. So that building that is hosting the KMTC, we actually negotiated and it was brought. They agreed and it was built by funding from USAID through, it was called FHI 360. But they also had an option of looking for a place to hire so that they can do research. And through talking to them and agreeing, and we found we had a reasonable agreement that the best thing is build. And the good thing is that when they're building, if you're using the US government money to build, it has to be within a health facility. It has to be within a government facility. And so instead of hiring, which we had an option of doing, and leaving one individual rich at the end of the study after 5 years, we opted to negotiate with USAID to build that facility so that by the time study Manuati Mono no room and no room in 2012, then we handed over the building to the hospital, who in turn handed it over to the Kenya Medical Training Center. And so that is another impact that I'm proud of, that as I pass there, as I pass Lumumba Health Center, I see buildings that would not have been there if we had not thought about the community rather than negotiating with an individual. For example, Zablon and I could have gone to say, "When negotiate gengatu nimi waodi ni wadwa team research for 5 years, my rent mwadwa chuli." Use that to build something that iweyo no ganda, iweyo wabro konyo ganda. You'd rather take an option where they negotiate with an individual, then that individual gives you a kickback so that you become rich as an individual. But there's nothing that you've done in the community. You've done your research, you've left, and that is it. Nobody gets to hear about you except reading in the books or in the articles. And so that is something we are proud of, that our legacy, Zablon and I, together with the funders, USAID and FHI 360 as the sponsor, together we were able to put up that building, and that building is serving the community now as a training center for Kenya Medical Training, as a Kenya Medical Training Center that is Bondo. That is called Kenya Medical Training Center Bondo. I've talked about Nyanza Initiative for Girls Education and Empowerment. I've talked about the building that we have done at Ogango. It's a really great building. We encourage you to go and see it and see what we have built. When we started Kisihomi, and you could hear some people saying, "Mama nodwacha musiling wapra beach." Siling wapra beach go edwa timnadi. My is pyramid scheme. Jogi odwacha kango. I want you to go and check Nige. I want you to go and check KMTC Mabondo. I want you to go and check Unim Project. I want you to make a decision. Ni if ne angama jalo chamo siling pra beach, would I build, for example, Nige? You would say ni for Unim and for the Bondo KMTC, the funds came from a donor. Bondo KMTC, the funds came from USAID. And UNIM, the funds came from Canadian government as well as the US government. Nyanza Initiative for Girls Education and Empowerment, what we call the Girls Empowerment Center, was built by foundation, by the French Embassy. The ceiling and the perimeter wall now by the Japan embassy. The rest of it we built by profits that we were getting. Go hand ni matindo mwagoyo. Wanyeo underwears from Uganda. Wabiro also watimo printed T-shirt. Watimo, watongo yen. Mount Elgon, Wabiro, also Homa Bay, also wherever. So those little profits is what we have taken 483 girls back to school. The majority from Migori, over 200, over 150 from Homa Bay, and then about 70, 80 from Kisumu. Siaya had the least because in Siaya we already had Dreams Project, and we thought it's not fair to also then give Siaya a second opportunity. So we gave the opportunity to Migori and Homa Bay and then Kisumu. And so that is money that was in our hands. It was a profit of the businesses that we were doing. It was a profit of we've spent, if you put everything together, construction and taking these girls back to school, each will only give fees, me or give pocket money, me or give fare, me or give everything. We have spent over 100 million Kenya shillings on this project, on funds that we have raised on our own. If Kawango was one that was trying to get rich by using others, that one was not using others. That was our money from our sweat, our businesses, and yet we used it to support girls. And I know only one Nige girl, Emanangeyo before. But I through research, can I mean research. But otherwise, these are people that I don't even know any one of them. And we have supported them to go to school. We have somebody who is studying for law. We have somebody who is in engineering. We have teachers. We have nurses. We have business people. We have people that we have actually trained that have gotten a better life than they would have had they not gone through Niger. And we are proud to say it is our sweat. And so that just goes to tell you, whoever is listening and maybe had doubts, that the 50 bob that we are asking from you is something that will go for that thing for which it's intended. Because we have handled huge money, raised huge money, and used it to support activities and programs that support the community without us gaining. I tell people that I have a salary, and that salary is enough to keep me. You know? And so you can check on Niger and what we are doing. And then just I think almost finally, from the work that we've done together with the others, I'm not taking credit on my own. There's so many people, many players. For those of you who are old enough, you know the way HIV was in the 90s. And that is one of the reasons why I moved into the area of HIV. Like, what is it that we can do? When I was doing my master's and I was doing fieldwork home, Nderni gikia iwok ka irie Migori, every market, ki wok ka idhi Busia, irie Ugenya, iwok ka irie Nyamasari, iwok kamora mora, everything mineno katimre, every market iromo gimaiti. Jogi dhi this direction to gigwenyre gi jok madok koni to gigwenyre gi jok madhi kocha to gigwenyre ginie every marketplace, hotel sanduk ni oko to jomane utingo mobiro gi maiti chiemo. Those were days when as a family you would say ni awa koro say yudo why iko nango unudhi uruika ngane unudhi uika ngane unudhi uika ngane so that our family will be represented. And I made a decision that, you know what, I am an individual and I know there are other individuals who are thinking the same. I want to see whether we can make a difference. I want to do the best I can, even if it is just reducing the number of deaths by one person. That is worth it. And that is how I moved into HIV. Me, I used to do climate issues. My training was climate issues. My training was nutrition. But I said you can only look at climate and look at that when you're alive. So the first thing is deal with something that is killing people, and people are dying. And so I said, I want to join this, and I'm joining it to save lives. Not to make a career, not for international recognition, but to save lives. So that sanduke miromogo ma inkonito, every marketplace and sanduke, ka sanduke authentic, jigwenyre, kajidhiko. Can we put a stop to it? Those days, kata yath nepodonge. And so, we are glad to say that right now, we had over 30%. In some districts, actually, HIV prevalence was over 40%. Over 40% is almost 1 in 2 people in the general population. Right now we are talking about 14% or less. That's what we have in this region. But again, that is prevalence. You know, prevalence is the number of people who are infected. But remember, we also have a very effective treatment program, which means that we are keeping those who are infected on life-saving drugs. And therefore, they are not dying, which we are very glad that if you're infected, remain healthy, live as long as anybody who is not infected lives. But if you're not infected, don't get infected. And so we are reporting that new infections have reduced significantly, markedly, over the time. And the number of people who are living, people are not dying of HIV. And so we are really proud that together with those other players, and there are many out there, and funding from PEPFAR, if the US government had not given us funding, I want to tell you, I don't know where we would be in this region, in this country, in sub-Saharan Africa. If the US government had not given the money, so generously given, and you know, this is their tax money. This is their tax money, and they're doing 2 jobs and 3 jobs to be able to support us here in Africa. I think we need to be very appreciative. We need to be very appreciative. I know there is always the Muzungu bashing, and I've done Muzungu bashing when I feel that they are not being kind, they are being racist. But at the same time, we also have to recognize that without that funding that the US government gave, and the US government, it is their tax money. And sometimes the tax money that you're using is coming from somebody who is not even able to take their child to college. He's not able to pay their mortgage, but their tax is helping us. And that is why I have an undertaking, of course my Christian faith as well, that I treat donor money as if better than I would treat my own, because I know the sweat that people have. I have created employment to over 10,000 people as I speak. And this is employment that we are not getting money from the Kenya government. This is employment that is created by me sitting down and writing proposals, and I get some, I miss some, and then employing people in programs, in research, and just getting to where we are. And it makes me happy that you know, through these 5 organizations, we've employed over 10,000 people. And it is sweat. Me, I work Monday to Monday. The only time I don't work is when I go to church. And after church, I continue working. I work at night, I work at daytime. Sometimes I work throughout the night when I have something that is a deadline. And why am I doing it? I have very few family members, very few kids. I'm doing it so that it makes me happy when I see the impact on the people that have gotten jobs, you know. The job opportunities that have been able, through my proposal writing and looking for funds, been able to give money, the way they've educated their kids, the way they have advanced in their education. Sometimes you get somebody who had a certificate. They are probably doing masters now, and that makes me happy. I had people who have done their bachelors and they came with nothing. I started with them on how to train them, like HTS counselors, for example. People have built beautiful homes. I've talked about a lady that just gave us her story of how, when she joined Impact, she didn't even have anything. We were a young couple. They bought land by the money they were earning. They built a mabati house. By the time she was talking to us, that was, I think, towards the end of August when their project was ending, she was telling us now she's living in Mbita in a gorofa. You know, amejenga. Sio gorofa ile ya kukodesha, ile ya rent, amejenga. From nothing to buying land, to being mabati house, to kujenga tu yake pole pole mpaka amefika where she is. And those make me proud. I feel so proud when I see that I have somebody manobiro with bachelor's and korotimo their PhD. Somebody manobiro with not even certificate, korosanio setimo or setimo diploma. And also people have built rental houses. Rental houses, gorofa. Ile ya rental, ile manyumba mingi ya kuninio. Because pole pole they've worked with us. People have bought property. People have started businesses and so on. And that is my pride. My pride that the people that have given opportunity to be able to get something, however small, they have built themselves, they have built their families, they have built their children, they have grown to a level, some of them even more than I have, which makes me happy. Because sometimes you want people to outgrow you. You want people to do better than you're doing. And I also have impact on me. Kwani mnasiti be impact on others. So impact on me, my proudest moment is that for the last 22 years I've been paying my own salary. Anachulo msacha kenda. Okachulu msacha oka treasury. I can challenge politicians. Because one thing that will not happen, or kibinena ka swed right a politician, nadwaru teach. Or kabi dwaro teach. Or kabi swed right a politician nadwaro teach. And therefore, ging'eyo ni kech we are desperate. Ibro dhire, koro kata kotimo gimarach to you look away. We are going to hold politicians accountable with love. We are not going to be combative. Me, I'm not combative. But I stand my ground. Kama ni mbaya ni mbaya, kama ni mzuri ni mzuri. Those who are doing a great job, like my sister from another mother, Gladys Wanga. Yani that lady makes me proud. Makes me proud to a point where I say it can happen. You look at the hospitals that she's putting together. Well, I'm keen on hospitals because I'm in public health. You look at the things that she's doing. She has groups that she's supporting. I was there last month. Was it last month? No, I was there, last month to just talk to some of her staff. They have a group of 65 women, groups that they're giving seed money and they are mentoring them and so on. And that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. And so it makes me feel so proud when people use public money for public good, rather than public money for personal good or public money for family good. It should be public money for public good. And so I am proud to say, 22 years, sijakula mshahara ya mtu. Me, I pay myself my salary 100%. I don't get salary from anywhere else. And beyond paying myself salary for 22 years, I have employed over 10,000 people. Tell me which politician has done that. Don't tell me about CDF because hiyo ni pesa yangu. CDF ni pesa yangu na yako. Don't tell me about, I don't know what, hiyo ni pesa yangu na yako. It is part of my tax that goes to CDF that is brought. That doesn't belong to any politician. Which politician ametoa pesa yake kwa mfuko yake ile salary ama ameandika something that has brought in money that has helped somebody that is not coming from the government coffers? No. So and I'm not looking for a political post. Somebody told me like, oh, you're starting Kisihomi. I usually know okidwar teach governor Masiaya. Okadwar nyaka Yesu duogi. And if I needed a job, my politics in Siaya, why would I spread my energy to the 4 counties? It just tells you I'm not interested. I'm not interested in politics. Politics, I have achieved way more than any single politician has in terms of helping Juluo, and that I can say take to heaven. And Nyasaye ongeyo. Any magolo pesa ufuko na, ma sweat otieno godichieng, ma tiyo to look for money, mandiko proposal, ma negotiate, matimango so that Juluo can be helped. Tell me one politician who's done that. With their own money, not pesa moja serikali. Moja serikali to mara, manta I'm not even saying, hiyo ni yangu. Hiyo ni yangu na yako na ya Kenyans, okay? And the other thing, I think we have had, and I've shown you today, that we have had impact in this community. Not just employment, impact in buildings that are there, and you can go and confirm. Go to Bondo KMTC, you can confirm Kawango Agot, Zabulon Omungo negotiated with the county government, then it wasn't county district, and we built that one there. It is there, it is serving Kenyans. Go to UNIM, it is serving Kenyans. Go to Ninge, it is serving Kenyans. Dongedina kao pesa nota, there agero godalana. Me, I built my home after 38 years of working. 38 years. Eka gero dalana. But I had opportunities. All those opportunities have been counting. Don't get say you do soya, say timango, say kano pesa no mana say gedogo. No, I said I build with my own money, and that is the pride you get. Kigero ot gi pesa ni miswe tika loan tika sako madi timango tigero go odi ilo igero go business ni igudongo go. That is something that when you look at it, you're proud. But kigero based on a soya, based on pesa, on embezzlement, based on pesa makiani kwalo kanye, ke timango. Akeni nindotero gigana ade, you I don't know. Pesa mbeyudo through means mingeyo ni is not right. Ingeyo ni ngato you act yudo go means no. And then that's where you sleep. Samithi ninde kitanda minyo gipesa kwala. How do you feel? Gipesa hongo. Nitide Kenya kinyali anything that can be done to you. Very few people, they are on payroll, but you have to bribe them to do the job for which they are being they're being paid. They're on salary. To nyaki bribe, the eco team ni teach, ma at the end of the month, or you do msara no. Msara engo. But you have to bribe, otherwise nothing gets done. It makes me sad. It makes me really, really, really sad. But you know what? Blessing onge kanyo, and I can tell you that. I've lived long enough. I tell you I'm over 60 years old. I'm in my mid-60s. I can tell you that for free. Yuro marmahati, itarumo kaka marmahati. We are not saying nika kama me yuro ma correct or kinyal bedogi problem. Bedogi problem is natural. But even just the conscience that you had, unless your conscience is numb, or no, kain the conscience maingo, tinge ni yenyewe, dalada ni agere, tagere gi pes akwala. Whether it is through bribe or through what, bribe is kwelo. Because it's not your rightful money. Then you sit back and you want peace. My friend, you may have peace, as the Bible says, for a moment. And then that moment, ikiisha, hautaona. To the third and fourth generation. So let us be honest. Let us come together. Let us think differently. And that's the parting shot that I have, that this background was necessary to address some of the doubts that some people may have. And they're rightful. I don't blame them. Because saa zingine luweti yose wankamoro. Saa zingine, negisedo nje group moro ma pesa jolal. Saa zingine group no poda kaka anything samoro nyalo podo. So I don't blame anybody who is suspicious. All I'm saying is that be suspicious, but don't do OP. Be suspicious, check us from the fence, kineno kaberni to be join Kisihomi. To kineno kok berni to please we jomo se donjogo mondo oriemb le gine melini mondo wadhigo kamwa wadhiye. So nitie session machielo mwabro los about how ceiling prabich mawakwayo ni mondo ngato ka ngato to be a member to help us run this outfit. We are asking Kenyans majoluo ma ai gwengni e gweng mar Kisumu sia Homa Bay Migori. Nidwa neno dongruok. We are asking him to join as a member by contributing 50 shillings only. 50 shillings to help us run this. And the background I've given you, it is a reassurance that kumaka wango didhi egisilingi prabich to onge. That I can assure you. I've had opportunities to steal hundreds of millions. I didn't even steal 1 cent. And that you can take to the bank. And so let us come together, mondo, wagol ceiling prabich, wariu kanyakla, what team go something. I will not write a proposal to dwaro kony moa oko. Asendiko enough. Tingeni ka kony moa oko ka rumo, te kaka gineno rumo. That's why we have to fund our own development. Let us go beyond talking. Ni wadwaro dongruok, wan watim renade. Let's move away from pity partying. Ya wante motim wanade, angomi gini oktimre. It is true. But do we do that and end at Yuagruok? No, let's come together. Let's join Kisihomi. Let's give 50 shillings a month. Only 50 bob. Ongenga 50 bob nyalo tamu. Even a korgweng ceiling prabicho nyalo tami. Mondo waket ma together. And it is going to show you two things. One, that kuri ureka nyakla 50 bob is huge. Toka ingi 50 bob ni inyalo timogango. Let's say ni ingi 50 bob per month. Iwo ka idhi e chiro metok dala nani. Dogi bro nyeo go dumba bule to kichopo ku e chiro not isetieko. That is what 50 bob will do when you have 50 bob and you are an individual. To ka 10,000 people, two golo 50 bob, mano pesa di? 250,000. I think so. Or 25,000. So 50 bob is a lot when you're many, you join hands. 50 bob is nothing if you're on your own. So we are asking that consider supporting. Kidwa neno dongruok mar joluo adiera, sio tu domo. Idwa neno dongruok mar joluo. Join us in Kisihomi and let us move together as a team. I have demonstrated, hopefully, I will not steal your money, and the team that I'm working with are team that are opworthy. Let me tell you that, opworthy. Their team is a team that I know their background. And then the others are going to join us from the counties and from the other places so that we can push them to this together. So, session mabro biro machielo bro nyiso ase wacho kaka 50 bob bro tiyo wabro twak ni Kisihomi ni enango mondo wangere ni Kisihomi ni matute enango. This other one was just giving the first session. Nito founder mar Kisihomi miluongo ni Kawango Agot ni enga, and what is her background, and is it a background you can trust? I hope that you can, from what you have heard, and all the things I'm telling you, inyalo check ginene, inyalo Google. so that inyalo wacho na paint ni maber. Inyalo Google, you can talk to my funders, everybody who has funded me ever, and there are many of them. USAID is one of them, CDC is one of them, universities mang'eny in the US are some of them. I've been funded by even the Kenya government, NAC, and so on. Ask any one of them, kapo nini nitie kata ndururu mane obuodhre modhi elsewhere when Kawango is running a project. I'm not saying I have angels matiyo. Of course, in staff, somebody nyalo yudo kamoro nongo kona. To go aga kona kapok ayudi. Ka yudi, idhi dala nyathiwa. Ing'e maber. And all my staff know that you go home. And so, we are hoping you will subscribe so that you help us mondo wariemb melini mondo wago kuma dwa chope.